Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't seen it already, we did a podcast, or I did a podcast on Sunday night. Recorded a podcast with the guys over at Tackle and Tacos. Awesome group of guys. We talked for about an hour and a half just on pretty much how we started reels and baits and fishing and growing up and all that kind of stuff, and who got me into fishing and tournaments. And it was a good chat for that hour and a half or so. Again, good group of guys. It's fun. It should be live tomorrow morning on YouTube, and it is currently live right now on like Spotify and Apple and all the audio platforms. I'm not sure because I don't really pay attention or use those. I'm usually like YouTubes and all that kind of video stuff. So we're gonna go on to rod number 5. I've got a couple of them. This is essentially the same rod, just different lengths. It's in the Xtasy series. And it's this guy right here. It is the Xtasy, and this is probably one of my favorite rods all time, unless they make a 756. This is my favorite rod for sure for flipping and pitching jigs and skipping and getting into cover and Texas rigs, and you can use it for light frogging. It is a little heavier than what it's rated for, slightly maybe. I think some guys say it's a little lighter, but I think it's a little heavier. But I want something even more stout. So this is the Xtasy 755. I have a 725 over there as well, essentially the same rod. That was just a little shorter, but I'll get to that one here in a second. 755, got a couple of them, of course. Both have jigs on them. This one, let's go 755. It is a 12 to 25 pound, 7'5", 5 power. It is 3/8 to 1.5 ounces. It is a mag heavy fast action. Awesome freaking jig rod. I've let buddies use it. I've let friends. I've let other people who just jumped in the boat who I've invited use my the Xtasy's for jigging, and they absolutely love it. Sensitive, super balanced. It is light enough. I mean, I'm sure it could be lighter, but with the balance and everything, it feels fantastic in your hand. I've got it paired with a Daiwa Xtasy Limited. This is the SV, Xtasy Limited. OG before the T-Wing. Carbon ZPI handle, tricked out knobs, caps, and all that kind of stuff. Standard spool. This has got 25 pound Seaguar AbrazeX on it. This is an 8-1-1. As you'll see here, I've got another one over there and another Xtasy right there. But this one is rigged up with the Omega half flip jig in Chobe with the Missile baits. I don't know, crawl. It's one of the new missile baits. A little more finesse. I'm not sure what the name is. There's so many names. If you know, post down below. I know what it is. I just can't remember off the top of my head. This has got the heavy gauge hook. This is the 1/2 ounce flip. This is one of my favorite jigs to flip and pitch and skip and all that kind of stuff. As you see, it's pretty beat up on the head. Nice weed guard to it. Great color. This is one of their top colors. But that is my main jig throwing stick. I have thrown Texas rigs on them. I have thrown light frogs on them, like the Jekyll Cares and stuff, but I have other rods for those duties. So it is mainly my jig rods, and I usually have 3 or 4 jigs tied on in different colors, weight, sizes, all that kind of stuff. As I love to flip a jig or throw a jig in grass and around cover, just because we have docks, lots of wood laydowns, and we've got grass in some of the lakes around like Illinois and northern Missouri. So that is that one. I need a taller office with like 15-foot ceilings and probably 3 times this size. Just because of everything that's been going on. This is the other 755 that I have. This one is throwing a half flip as well. This is TW Craw. Again, another awesome color. You can see how beat up the head is with a Paul Crew plastics on there. Great plastics, super soft though, like really, really, really soft. So they don't last long, but he pours amazing, amazing plastics. And then I've got it paired with a Xtasy SV with the Shawl SV spool. This is nice for skipping in tight, flipping and pitching in tight. It doesn't hold a ton of line, so I'm not worried about it blowing up or losing a ton of line anyway. So if it does blow up, you're not losing a whole lot. With the ZPI custom purple knobs that I painted just because I got bored and I think I need to like repaint them or do something to them. I might actually swap them out to straight blacks. 8-1-1 as well. Pretty much the same setup. I love having very consistent setups across the board. I like going with the same reels. So if I pick one up to another, I don't really have to adjust or change. I just pick it up and go. What else is in there? If you haven't seen these, that's a bait sack. Looks like a finesse. This is a 7/16 finesse. Anchovy, finesse, chovy. With an old school, I think this is an old school Robo-worm. Robo-craw. That one's gonna go here behind me. And then my 725. So I picked up a 725. Essentially, it's the same rating. I haven't really thrown. This would probably work. All those rods would probably work up to an ounce. I mean, it says 1.5 ounces. I just like more power when I'm throwing a big jig, like a 7/8 ounce, 1.25 ounces. Just personal preference. Depends on the hook style and the hook weight. If it's a thick gauge hook or if it's a lighter wire hook. It just depends. But this 725 I really got for like in tight skipping, close docks, in tight cover. Makes it a little bit easier to pitch and flip in the back of the boat, especially when I'm fishing with my buddy in his boats. I can just sit back there. Since you're sitting lower in the water, you have less vertical motion. So the 725 works perfect. Again, this is paired with a Xtasy Limited SV Megabass eyes handles, a 90mm handle, 8-1-1 as well. Phenomenal reel. Absolutely love these reels. The worst part about them is like the clear coat stuff peels off, but whatever. Awesome reels, super smooth, fun to use, and it's a Xtasy. So those are the three. Those are pretty much all the same rod, just lengthwise, a little bit of power. I think the 725 might be a little softer, just a hair, but I tend to lean towards the longer rods just for leverage and hook setting, especially if you're throwing a football jig on those rods, which you can do. You can throw 1/2, 3/4, and ounce footballs in those as well. So those are it, guys. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you later. Peace.